My name is Kristen Page Simons, and I am presenting my ENT Life Plan final presentation. It's on the English tutoring service. And the English tutoring service offers help with English homework, looking over essays and reports provided by the peers. The problems worth solving for these students is these students have a lot of English homework questions, and they're struggling with them because they don't really understand. They need help with their grammar mistakes in their papers because a lot of times English is harder for students. I know in my elementary school I didn't have grammar until I was in 6th grade, so a lot of the times they also ask people to edit their papers, and they just kind of give it to their peers, and then their peers make edits or whatever, and then they just give it back to them and here, do these, and then you'll be fine to turn it in. But that doesn't really help the students because they don't really understand why they're making those edits, if that makes any sense, and they don't it doesn't make any sense to them, just copying and deleting and re-rotating sentences and stuff. So, and they need to really understand why they're making the edits so they can perfect it in the future papers and reports. They need help making their papers sound more professional, and they need, and proper grammar, like I mentioned before. They need help annotating their articles or their books or whatever they're reading and they're focusing on. They need help with defining their vocabulary word. That is a struggle for a lot of students, I know. And different teachers, not only in English, but different teachers assign, or their assignments, they want them done a certain way, and they're looking out for certain things when you do the assignments. So that can be really difficult because if you go to any other tutoring service, they don't really know what your teacher really wants. But if you go to my tutoring service, your peers know what you want, and they know what the teachers want. And it makes they understand what the teachers are looking for because they're in the same classes. They're in the same English class as you, or they have it at a different time, but they have the same English teacher, so they know exactly what they're looking for here. Also, another problem with students do not want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be seen going into tutoring services and being embarrassed. So I will cover how my service will help that in one moment. The solutions of these problems that my tutoring service provides. The peer tutors, they're going to be called peer tutors from now on. They review the edits and they review and edit the teacher's papers. The students' papers. And they don't only make like I said before, they don't only just make edits and corrections. They also explain to the students why, and they also go with the students and tell them hey, I don't think this should be here. What do you think should be here instead? Or do you think we should change these? And ask the students what they think, so they really feel like they did the paper and they really did the whole paper and they did the whole edits themselves and just had a little bit of extra help and push. And so they don't feel like they're a total, they just don't know what they're doing at all. They help peer tutors help the students learn how to annotate. So that's just basic. That's it doesn't need any more explanation. The tutors also help with the English homework. But they don't do it for them. That's the main thing that we're focused on, is we don't want to do it for them because then they don't really learn anything. We need to be there for them and help them, but not this is the answer, write it down. Just because you need to teach it to them so they understand it better, and not doing it for them, because a lot of high school students are just and mainly in English too, they get the smart girls or whatever, and they're can you do this for me, please? Can you do it for me? Can you write my paper for me? So that's really something we do not like, my tutoring service, and we're not going to do your work for you. You have to actually put in some kind of a working at it. You can't just come with a two sentence essay and expect us to write it for you, because we're not. Tutors are also the peers. So yeah, like I mentioned before, they know what the teachers are looking for in the assignments and the papers. And also, the tutoring sessions are totally confidential. The peer tutors they can say they're a peer tutor, but they do not say who they're met with or what they met about, and they do their sessions in like this private room of the library, and there's like no windows. It's super confidential, and we rent out that space so that students won't feel like they're embarrassed to go in there because they need help. Not at all. Like it's totally fine. Our target market is mainly for obviously students struggling in English, but it's mainly targeted toward the parents because the parents are more of the benefactor and like pushing them towards it, and most likely they're the ones paying for it. Also the coaches, possibly the coaches of sports teams might need, like, say, hey, you know, you're gonna get kicked off this school, like let's say it's this private school, like with scholarship, because football, you know, you're not doing good in English. They can tell the parents to support them and push them towards the tutoring service. It's also targeted towards students in which English is their second language. So if they spoke French or Spanish and English is really hard for them, I mean, come on, you know, it's just a given. Also, it's targeted toward the students who shine in English to be the peer tutors, and also students seeking to be future teachers, to be the tutors, so they can actually have like some background and some experience and say, you know what, I don't really like this, I don't want to do this, or I love this, I want to keep doing this, that kind of deal. Sorry. The funding needed. I'm sorry if you can't really see this. Okay. We only are asking for $1,500. I know it does not sound a lot at all, but honestly, we really don't need that much stuff to start this. We just need the money to help purchase the supplies, the marketing stuff, to help the tutors, and help like the books, like whiteboards, and renting out the private room in the library. So honestly, we're not asking for a lot because we don't need a lot, and we're not going to ask for more than what we need because that's just rude. The sales channels are personal selling, so like you're selling to each individual person who needs help with English, not like a whole community. I guess if it's a community of people who need help with English, but that's not really it. Also direct marketing, because it's like directly towards English, like students struggling in English. And it's directly towards high school, but it can help middle school too, but it's mainly for high school. Our marketing activities, we advertise around the schools that we're located in. So like have flyers outside the water fountains, or like in the teachers' classrooms and stuff. We're gonna partner with English teachers. So at parent-teacher conference, if like, hey, you know, your student's not doing so great, you might want to think about this, and send them a flyer with that, or tell them about it at open house or whatever. We meet in the school library, so like that we could have flyers there and like say, hey, this is where we meet, on the door and stuff. Advertise at sporting events and assemblies. That can help, but probably not as much as telling the parents, because again, the target audience is more of the parents than the children and the students themselves. We also advertise before major English tests and major projects and papers due dates. So like you can say, hey, also the teacher can mention our service in there, so we partner with them because we're helping English, you know. The revenue streams. Reoccurring revenue. So like the students who come and participate in this service will most likely come back again if they need more help editing papers or whatnot. So that's why it's reoccurring revenue. Service revenue, because it's a service, because we're providing a service, we're not providing a product. And operating revenue, because we're working now and we're open, and we'll probably, during coronavirus right now, we would do stuff online, be able to have Zoom calls and help people that way, and like they can email their paper to us and edit it that way. And we're still going to be working all the time, around the clock, even on like breaks and holidays maybe. Major costs. our major costs are we don't, like I mentioned before, we don't really have that many because we're not like a product kind of thing, we're more of a service, and it doesn't really take that much to start. So we just need a supply and equipment fee, the advertising fee, session fees for each tutoring session, and the renting fee for the private room in the library. And then it's summertime. We hope to do work with you soon. I really think y'all should think about this because I think it's really neat, and it's a really interesting service, and it can help a lot of kids and students get into college actually too, because it can help them with their final application, Common App, that's what it's called, the Common Application and stuff. So I really think that it should be considered, but you know, you do you. Thank you.